Hello everyone. In today's session, we will be seeing a concept of granting and revoking your privileges, which are basically meant for access control, right? Access control on granting and revoking privileges, right? So, in this, what all are the concepts we are going to see? First, we are going to see how to create users and roles, right? Now you may ask, what is the difference between user and roles? Roles are defined to be group of privileges. Okay, right? There can be a person who can have multiple roles, right? He may act as role 1, role 2, role 3. Depending on the type of logging in he is doing, his privileges should be changing here, right? Whereas this person, right, this directory is a user here. A user can have multiple roles assigned to him. So, depending on the role, the privileges that are being specified, he can work upon. Okay. So, we will see how to create the roles and users, and we will see how to grant the privileges, right, from a super user to other users. Okay. And we, while granting, we can do it individually, right? That one by one a specific privilege you can provide, or you can provide all the ANSI 92 privileges that involves 6 to 7 commands, no, the privileges: create, insert, select, delete, update, drop, all of these references. All these are the different privileges. So if you want to give all the privileges at once, you can give, or individually also you can give. So how we are going to do that in a batch, we will see. And then finally, after we have given the grants, later you want to revoke them, then how can you revoke those grants from the user or from the role? We will be seeing it. Okay. So now quickly let me move to MySQL and let me just create a database where all our operations are recorded, right? For access control. So I'll just give a control. Okay. So now I'll say use a control, right? So now in this, I would want to create a user by name admin. Okay. Or admin is more or less like a role if you do not want to use that word. So let me just use a username here as Preeti. Okay. It could be any name, any username that you want to give. Say for example, I'll give let me give it as test only, right? So that should be better. So how do I create a user? Create user username. Test is the username I am giving here. User created, right? Now, if you want to see how many users are there in your system, you can use select user from mysql.user, right? This will display the different users that are available in your system, right, or in your server. Among this, in my system or in my machine, root is the super user for me. Okay, who is actually creating the other users right now. Okay, so now I have created successfully a user by name test. Now I want to give certain privileges to him so that he can work on it, right? So now let me grant create on the database name. Let me give it as the one which I was using, right? A control dot star. Grant create on a control dot star to test. Who is test? Test is a user here, right? I am now specifically giving one particular grant permission that he can create, uh, he can work with create data definition language here, statement here, where only on this particular database, right? So let me just check. Executed successfully. Now, in order to see if the privileges are given to test, I should exit from the super user, which is root, and log in to the test user, right? So, how do I do that? I say MySQL option U, name of the user, and then password. I have not given a password here, so directly I can skip this, so I can enter into it, right? Enter into the user. Now I can say show databases, right? A control is now available to me. Now I can say use a control, right? So from this, if I want to see show tables, nothing is present, right? So I say now I have privilege to create, so I'll create one table, create table T1 with name as varchar with one field only, table created, right? Now if I want to describe this table, describe T1, it says select command denied on test user for T1, right? Why it says so? Because I have given permission only to create, not for any other operation, right? So you can't do any other data definition or data manipulation language commands on this particular database with the user test. Okay, now let me just show you once again one more thing. Select star from T1. Again, it says it is denied. Insert into T1 values. So I want to insert certain value, say Pradeep, the name, right? It says insert command denied, right? Any other operations other than create you try doing, it will clearly says it is not permitted because the grant permitted is only for one operation, that is create. Now let me exit from this user and log on to super user as MySQL option U root option P, right? So I have to here give the password. Okay, let me just see. Yes, I've logged in correctly. Now, again, if I want the select to happen, right? So what do? I say now grant select on the database name a control to, right? To whom? To test. Oh, sorry, I should be using the database first. Use a control. All the operations that I am trying to do, I should first enter into my database and only then I'll be able to do this, right? That does not dot star. This is the syntax. Okay. Grant select on database name dot star to test. Okay. Now let me see. Now I'm exiting from the super user. I am logging into the test. No password. So I'll just leave this and say use a control. It is not hyphen, it has to be underscore, right? Now if I say describe T1, which is a table in this particular database, right? It is describing now, right? If I type in select statement for the same, now it will tell empty set selected. Earlier, what it was telling? It was telling that the operation is denied, right? You can see here whenever select statement was done, it said it is denied. This particular command is denied on this user, right? So this is how you can give selectively the privileges to the users, or if you want, you can give all of them together. So now I'm exiting from the test user, and let me again log back to the super user, right? So now let me give the permissions, right? I'm just clearing this. Okay, now let me give all the privileges now. Any command that is either creating of table, insertion of values into table, displaying the content of the tables, updating the tables, dropping the tables, every privilege that exists and that are required to work with the database, if I want to give, then this would be the command for it. Grant uh, grant all is the keyword that we are going to use. Okay, grant all privileges, sorry, privileges on the database name, a control dot star to admin. Now I'll exit from the super user, log on to the, so sorry, I'm supposed to give it for admin, is it not? This is another user which I had created earlier. So let me just exit from this, enter into root, because I have to give permission to test, not to admin. By default there is a user by name admin in my system. To him all the privileges are given, right? So let me just sec. Now I have logged in successfully. So this is the clear screen command over here. So I say now use a control, right? And then I say what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to grant permission to test. So now grant all privileges on a control dot star to the user test. Okay, now exit from the super user, log on to test. No password. So now use the database called a control, right? Now, if I want to insert into T1 values name, I am able to do this successfully. Insert into 2 is missing over here. Now the query executed successfully. So now if I say select star from T1, you would expect the insertion operation. So likewise, updation, deleting, or any other DDL or DML statements can effortlessly be executed with all these permissions. Now let me exit from this user, log on to the super user to revoke all the permissions, right? So how do I revoke all the permissions? Using a revoke command. And how does it work? Revoke all privileges on a control from test, right? This would be all. Oh, again, I am missing out on selecting the database. You have to always select the database and type in the command that is, let me just retype it, revoke. Okay, there is no such grant. Just a second. Yes. So I should never be forgetting on giving dot and star over here, right? So now you can see all the privileges that were given to the test user will be revoked. Now, if I am trying to use a control, right, I am not permitted to enter, and then further I am not allowed to have any other operations to be performed, since I am not at all given access to the database that I'm intended to work with. So with this, the access control for the users is done, right? So as a summary, we have seen how to create the users, how to provide the privileges, and how to take back the privileges from the users in MySQL. Thank you.